TNA Wrestling crossed that line again as another Impact episode aired on AMC. And of course, for us international viewers, TNA Plus. For those of you that haven't, get downloaded, get it subscribed. £9.99 gives you the lot. Impact, the specials, the PLEs, and of course, the back catalogue with all the greats such as the now retired AJ Styles, Abyss, who we may have saw on WWE this week, and Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, who is still there in TNA as we take a swig of that oh so sweet coffee in the morning. Right, but what better way? What impact to start than the two champions? That is Mike Santana, the world champion and X Division champion, Leon Slater were in tag team action to kick off TNA Wrestling against the Nemeths, Nick and Ryan. And there's no real better way for TNA to kick off the show than the two champions. And yeah, what you see is what you get when you hear the words Leon Slater, Mike Santana, and the Nemeth brothers. You're going to get a high speed, high octane action from Leon Slater. You're going to get the sluggish or the slugness of Mike Santana. You're going to get the wily veteran that is Nick Nemeth. And of course, his brother, Ryan. Nothing more to say about Ryan, but no, this match was great. What a great way to start off Impact Wrestling. This was all over the place, as you can imagine. Such an exciting tag match to kick off the show. And you were wondering, because you keep wondering, the more that they pair Nick and Mike together, and not Nick, Leon and Mike together, excuse me, Sally. The more that they put Leon and Mike together, the more that you question whether option C is going to be in use from Leon Slater at some point. They keep on about it, and he does have that option to relinquish the X Division Championship and go for that TNA Championship. But at the moment, and as it stands, him and Mike Santana are working like a well-oiled machine, I have to say. However, Leon Slater has got a bit of a problem right now, and that problem wasn't Ryan Nemeth. It wasn't even Nick Nemeth. The problem was Eric Young. Now he come out on the ramp and he distracts Slater as he goes for the 450 splash. And when he tries to hit that splash, Nick gets his knees up and then gets Slater pinned for the win. Nemeth brothers reign supreme, but the cleanse from Eric Young seems to have a new victim. And the new victim is Leon Slater. Will he bring up the fact that Leon's been appearing in WWE, perhaps as a cleansing reason? I don't know. But we will find out. That is for certain. Leon Slater, Eric Young, that is like a teacher, not say teacher student because Leon didn't train under. Yeah, you would imagine Leon Slater attending an Eric Young seminar. You know, in differences in age is what I'm trying to get at here. I would say man v boy, but it's not going to be like that at all. But that's going to be an interesting one as we move forward onto TNA, and we're looking forward to what's in store there. But Eric Young has now got his sights firmly set on the youngest in charge. We'll see what happens there. Knockouts action. I could watch the knockouts action all day. Danny Luna versus Lei Yingli. Now, this was meant to happen at the start of the year when Lei Yingli was, of course, your knockouts champion. We know the visa issues prevented this from happening. So I'm so happy that we managed to see this. Danny Luna, and I'm saying it, and I still stand by this, she is on the run of her life at the minute on TNA. Slight derailment with the issue with the visa, but she is still on that run. I love the entrance with a dog collar. I think that's great. I really do think that's great. She is incredible. She really, really is. And this match was brilliant, by the way. Lei Yingli, obviously fresh off the Knockouts Championship defeat um, against Ariana Grace, but they still this was brilliant. I really loved it. Luna did try and grab that chain during this match that was under the ring, and Lei Ying also then got sent straight crashing into the bottom turnbuckle. It was a really nasty spot on that one. Really, really was. However, it was Danny Luna with the Luna landing that picks up the victory in this match. So Danny Luna, that's an impressive one for Danny Luna, former Knockouts champion now. Um, Beating a former Knockouts champion in Lei Ying Li, and you got to think Danny Luna she has to be up there for a championship opportunity. That is going to be got to be happening, got to happen this year. It has to happen, Danny. She has to be Knockouts champion at some point. She has been so good for TNA wrestling, and as I said, since Spitfire split up, she has really come in to her own, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next for Danny Luna in TNA. But she can't be far away from a championship opportunity, in my opinion, anyway. Speaking of knockouts, that brings me to Alicia Edwards. Now, over the last few weeks, Alicia Edwards has been kind of in two minds. All the stuff with the system has happened. She was debating signing a new contract with TNA. The contract was coming to an end. Moose, Carlos Silva, and Tommy Dreamer were there. Moose was encouraging Alicia to sign the contract and she can be his manager, which she liked the sound of and signs that contract. Alicia Edwards siding with Moose. Something isn't right. I'm sorry to say this. I don't think that is going to last. I have a sneaking suspicion the system may well be involved in here somewhere. Having said that, it's always good to see Alicia Edwards re-sign with TNA Wrestling, and we'll see where this story goes with Moose. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to end up with her back in the system. Back to action. AJ Francis and Mance Warner, of course, with Steph Delander. This was a slugfest. I loved do you know what? Both of these two I think are great. I really do think are great. This was an absolute fight. There was one bit where Francis sent Mance Warner crashing off the steel steps with a gorilla press slam and dumps him back in the ring. I really enjoyed it. I can see where this is going, though. I always said straight away that my feelings were this match was going to be or going to get to some kind of street fight. We're going to have some kind, I don't know what, we're going to have something going on with these two. It'll either be a street fight or Clockwork Orange or Monsters Ball or whatever. Um, because, and there's a reason why I said that. A, because they're two big guys that can go in the ring, which I would really, and we really love that sort of thing. But mainly because of the way this match ended as well. So the match ended with AJ Francis grabbing a chair from underneath the ring. He goes to use it. Mance Warner doesn't use it, takes the chair from him, cracks it across his spine, and the referee sees that and DQs Mance Warner, which would you know, think to me that we're going to be going to another another realm of violence. They're not going to that's not going to lie well, sorry, with Mence Warner. What TNA do well is that eventually at one point we'll get this street fight or come some kind of fight, which will be no DQ or something along those lines on TNA, which is what that's what I'm waiting for with these two. It will happen. I'm certain it will. It will just be a case of when and not if. But again, we can wax lyrical AJ Francis. We do all the time. He is so good at what he does. And Mance Warner, equally as impressive since coming in. Like to see more of him. He went through a period a time where we didn't have it. He sort of come and he went, and then he's back now. And I want to see more immense on TNA in the short future. So that's certainly in the short term future of TNA. So yeah, really want to see that. Um, More from Mence and AJ Francis, maybe a street fight or something, please, Carlos or the team at TNA. The legendary track of hardcore country springs to mind. Not springs to mind, happens next. Now we know that last week Micky James come out and prevented, well, prevented, but she come out and attacked the Elegance brand. Micky was very happy to be back in Nashville, and she wanted Ash to come to the ring, and of course she does. The personal concierge was there. Micky James told him to leave. You know, Ash was like, people pay to see her rather than they pay to see Micky James. And Micky James wanted Ash to come by the ring and have a chat, but by herself. Sorry, that's what she wanted. And she remembers the time when Ash was released. She said she called Tommy Dreamer and got Ash's job. And but although Ash was like, I'm the hottest free agent, but James says everyone knew it wasn't true. And then she kind of about how she makes TNA trend every single week. And then this was like for the first time, the fans believed in Ash when she turned to TNA wrestling, and Ash still turned their back on them. Well, that's a relatively true thing. We wanted her to have her moment and believe that she could go far in TNA. The only thing I would say is she's gone far in TNA by turning her back on the fans. So there's an element of truth to both of that. And Micky James, Ash was like, doesn't care about the people, which is fair. She only cares about the Knockouts Championship. And she also said it was none of Micky James's business what happened to her, but she puts in the hard work, and she's better than the fans, the legends, and Micky James herself. Interesting. And they end up having a sort of some sort of a fight, and then Nia against Brand attack Micky James. So, are we going to get to see Micky James back in a TNA ring? Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Press, please. Love it. Would love to see it. Um, her back in the ring. I really want Micky James back in. She did get a DDT on the entrance ramp, by the way, as well. And I just really hope that we get to see Micky James back in TNA against Ash by Elegance, maybe in a six-woman match. Excuse me. Maybe they'll do it that way. Initially, maybe Micky James will have some backup and they'll do a six-woman match, and then Micky James will go down the line and face Ash by Elegance. Either way, I'm fine with it. Absolutely fine with it. More knockouts action. See, this is good for TNA, man. More knockouts action on this show. Jada Still versus all the fours, Tasha Stills. And of course, she was with the great hands. And I did like this. Again, a great showcase from two knockouts who perhaps really haven't had a much of a look in right now. I think that's fair to say. Obviously, Tasha's in order for business, so there's a lot of other stuff that she has to do. Jada Still just finding her feet still in the division. Very much. I think both of these women went into this match with a point to prove, and they proved it. Really competitive. I really enjoyed this. It's going to be interesting. Jada Steele, fuck me. Jada Stone is going to be one to look out for, I think. Tasha Steele has always been there. Yeah, she's more than capable. But Jada Stone is really, again, starting to come into her own on this. And I really want to see where the future goes for her as well, because that knockouts division is stacked. That's the thing. It is really, really stacked. And it's whether or not there can be an elevation there ready to that top end. Because there's a little bit, obviously TNA doesn't have like say a mid-card knockouts championship or anything like that. They only have the knockouts tag and the knockouts championship. So there isn't a middle ground, so to speak. There's not like an X Division championship or an international championship like there is with the men. So perhaps there's something that TNA need to think about. But nevertheless, Jada Stone picks up the victory as she reversed a cutter she reversed a cutter into the pick victory. Sorry, rolls out the ring straight into the hands of the great hands who roll her back in the ring, and Stills hits the cutter in the end, but did not get the job done. Jada Stone wins the match. That was a very forgetful match for me to try and get the names right. It's been a long week, guys. All right, it's been a long ass week. Okay, cut me some slack. Anyway, now we get to Steve Maclin, who was obviously fired in Feast of Fire, and ever since then he's been trying to. Well, he's been attacking Santana. He's been doing everything but be fired, which is interesting. He attacked Santana when he was fired, for that matter. Uh, Nevertheless, Tom Hannifan, a good friend of Steve Maclin, managed to get an opportunity for Steve to come and have a conversation. It wasn't easy, apparently. Maclin made his way to the ring. There's lots of security guards, and Hannifan said, "Look, we've been friends for over a decade, or more than a decade." He said they're honest with one another and wants Maclin to explain his actions. And Maclin was like, "It's not about Santana, but about him getting fired from TNA." He said many in at the back thanked him for what I'm not quite sure about that, for what he did. Oh, for the company. Oh, after he got fired. Yeah, after he got fired in the Feast of Fire. And then he said he got fired and made him think. He's like he's volunteered for his country in the Marine Corps, which is true. And Hanny Fanning cut him off. It's like, what are you cutting him off for? And asked Macklin if he's really saying that everything about his past justifies what he done to Santana. Well, Macklin says Santana never showed up to one of their tag matches, later telling him that he was going through something. Here we go. And that Santana was being selfish. And tells Hannifan he could talk about all the struggles that he faced in the past and continues in his personal life. And he also says that him and Hannifan are meant to be friends. And the Hannifan's meant to be on his side. And he's the reason Hannifan has his job in TNA wrestling, to which Hannifan agrees to that. But he then says, but Hannifan says that Maclin never takes responsibility and always blames somebody else. To which Maclin then punches Tom Hannifan in the midsection, and as the security guards everything run to the ring, Mike Santana's music hits, and Maclin escapes through the crowd. Whew. Well, that was an interesting part. Now, are we going to get to a point where Maclin gets a shot somehow, even though he's fired at that World Championship? Is he fired? What's going on? I mean, that's it. Is he going to get a match where if he wins the match, he's back in TNA? I don't know. This is interesting with Mac. I think Maclin's great. I didn't want Maclin. I know it was out of Eric Young, and I know it was out of Young and Maclin, but I really like Maclin. I think he's a huge loss to TNA. The fact that he's not here, the fact that he's not around in TNA is a big loss, and I hope that this is a start of him coming back, and they're going to find a way back in for Steve Maclin because he would be as I said, he is such a loss. The fact that he got fired, and I don't know. I'm just not right if they can, if they without Macklin, I just don't think it would be right. I hope that this is the start of bringing Macklin back in the TNA. Anyway, the Hardys and the Righteous together again against the system. Again, I like this solid match. You're still wondering when this split up with the Righteous and the Hardys are going to happen, though. Um, I would like to see. I would like to see it go a bit longer. I really would. I'd like to see him pick up some wins. I'd like to see things sort of, maybe start having the Hardys question. Maybe they're wrong and the Righteous are right, and maybe we get to that point and then it happens. I don't know. I don't know. And I would like to see it though. And it's interesting with it because you kind of know it's going to happen. And it's nice because you just kind of wait. This match was great, by the way. I really, anything with the Hardys in it, but the Righteous, they just seem to work and gel really well as a team. The new and improved system are just that, with Bear Bronson in there, with Cedric Alexander, Myers, they're just, and Eddie Edwards, they're just great, just great to have. And they had a little bit of a to do in this one in terms of the end of it. There was a blind tag by Vincent, and Eddie sent Matt crashing down to the mat of a sidewalk slam, and he cashes Vincent with a shining wizard and pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So there was still a slight bit of indecision there with the Hardys and the Righteous. I just wonder how long that's going to go on for. But it was after the match. The system keeps beating up on the Hardys and the Righteous down. Out comes Moose to the ring. He clocks Bronson. He levels Alexander. He hits Myers. But then Bronson catches a kick from Moose as well. And then the system, obviously, with the numbers game, beat down Moose. And then Alicia Edwards runs out to protect Moose actually on this and tells the system to stop beating him down. And she continues kind of, I would say, berating them until the show goes off the air. Um, which again leads me to think something is still not quite right here with the system and Alicia Edwards. I'm not sure yet when I still think she's going to align herself back with the system at some point. It just matter. Well, it's just a matter of when, in my opinion, then if she does. But yet, once again, another great episode of TNA Wrestling hits our screen. The next big event from TNA will be Sacrifice Friday, the 27th of March, literally a month away. We are a month away from Sacrifice, from NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, party capital there for TNA, to have their next bigger show. Tickets are already on sale. Go and get that. Make sure also if you are in the UK that you are downloaded to TNA Plus. You're missing out on some great action. TNA continue to set the benchmark in 2026. Ratings are great. Everything is going swimmingly from TNA Wrestling, but they still need some of you guys that haven't already downloaded and subscribed and paying your £9.99 to get everything. The impacts, the special shows like Sacrifice, the big PLEs, and of course, the back catalogue involving the phenomenal AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Abyss, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian, of course, who's still there right now. But it's been another good recap for TNA Wrestling on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. You can follow us at HTT Buckle everywhere, and we will be back with the Elimination Chamber review show on Sunday, as well as This Week in Wrestling. Don't miss both of those shows and some more interviews coming up. Eric Bischoff returns. Uncle Eric is back on Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Luke Menzies, the former artist formerly known as Ridge Holland, there as well. He will be on the show very, very soon, as will C.W. Anderson. He'll be in there as well. So please, please, please keep watching our show. All the TNA specials, all of our TNA exclusive interviews are and now when they've got its own playlist. It is the TNA exclusive playlist. Go and check it out. The system, the older system, are there. Some of the system in there. Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards is in there again. Mustafa Ali. The Righteous, the most recent ones. Tom Honeyfan, Tasha Steeles, and so much more. So please go and do that as well. But until Sunday, everybody, thank you for watching. Take care. Cross the line and stay safe.